Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Shahzeen and I'm a nutritionist specializing in PCOS. Today in this video I will be talking to you all about how you can manage PCOS effectively during Ramadan. Now, I speak to lots of women with PCOS and a lot of them tell me that during Ramadan they end up feeling even more fatigued. They find that they have no energy, they feel really guilty because of that fatigue, they can't actually work towards their spiritual goals, because at the end of the day, Ramadan, this holy month of Ramadan, is all about doing extra worship, earning those extra rewards, and we cannot do that if we are fatigued all day. Even myself, growing up with PCOS, I would also be a little bit apprehensive as soon as Ramadan would come around, and I would feel very guilty about it. Whilst everyone else would be excited, they'll be writing down all their spiritual goals, I would be actually very nervous because I knew that already with PCOS, I was having a lot of difficulty managing my fatigue, my eating habits. During Ramadan, I would become even more confused with all those things. I would be extremely fatigued and not actually be able to participate in any extra worship. Now, my meals, my lifestyle was typical of that of a South Asian household. So my mom would wake us up for Sahur, and she would make a very heavy meal for Sahur, and we were expected to finish all of it. We were expected to drink gallons of water during Sahur, which would only make us go to the toilet 100 times after. And then for Iftar, she would fry up lots of delicious fried foods such as samosas and spring rolls and all of those good things which I would have no control over. So I would eat lots of those, and then after that, as soon as Iftar would be over, I would do my Maghrib prayer and I would just be slumped on the bed, extremely tired and sleepy, and literally have no energy for any nighttime worship, which is the one that gives us the most rewards during Ramadan. As I learned more about PCOS, and of course after gaining all my degrees and working with lots of women with PCOS, I realized that there are certain things that we need to do differently during Ramadan with PCOS so that we can be less fatigued and more focused on our spiritual goals, and also maybe even lose a bit of weight during the process, so by the time that Eid comes around, we are feeling our best. So this is what this video is going to be all about, and if that is something that interests you, then I recommend that you keep on watching. So when we talk about fatigue during Ramadan, what makes us more fatigued is what we're eating during Sahur and Iftar, of course, and of course the way we are managing our sleep schedule. So let's start talking about our eating habits and how we can use these to really balance our blood sugar levels well during our fast so that we're not so fatigued throughout the day. So first of all, let's start talking about Sahur. Most importantly, please do not skip your Sahur meal. There are blessings in it, of course, and it's also really important for managing your blood sugar levels throughout the day. With PCOS, one of the biggest things that causes fatigue is our mismanaged blood sugar levels. And if we are eating nothing during Sahur, then already our blood sugar levels are very, very low. And when they're low, our body is going to tap into its reserves and go into the stress response to release glucose from our internal stores, and we don't want that. So we want to make sure that we are having a balanced meal at Sahur, and as part of my meal prep guide in my upcoming program, the Ramadan 4-week Ramadan reset, I have included meals that you can meal prep, little bites that you can meal prep. So even if you have 15 minutes before Sahur ends and you quickly just grab a few bites and then you're good to go, so that you do not feel fatigued throughout the day and you haven't missed Sahur either. So let's talk about some of the options, Sahur options that we can have to have balanced energy levels throughout the day and to make sure that we feel satiated. First thing you want to consider are your preferences. When you go online, you will find hundreds of Sahur recipes, and I don't know about you, but I have my own individual preferences for what I like to eat early in the morning. If it's so early in the morning, then of course some people have a very low appetite. Some people can't stomach up certain types of food. For example, some people don't like to have eggs in the morning. Some people don't like to have any dairy in the morning. Some people don't like to have meat in the morning. So first of all, you want to think about what your preferences are. If you're trying to look at what other people are having for Sahur and you're trying to replicate that, even though your taste preferences are not according to that, then you're going to find it difficult and you're going to derail very quickly. So if you have very low appetite, then you want to have something like a quick meal. This could be a liquid smoothie. So a smoothie, you can use protein powders in your smoothie. If you don't like protein powder, you can add Greek yogurt in there, a milk of choice. You can even add some nuts in there if that's what you like. You need something that's going to have protein, carbs, and fat. So make sure when you're creating your smoothie, you are having a source of something, of one of these macronutrients in your smoothie. So for instance, you can have your protein powder, so that can be any flavor that you like, some strawberries, so vanilla protein powder, some strawberries, a few cashew nuts, for example, maybe a couple tablespoons of yogurt, and that's it. You can even prep those smoothie ingredients in advance. So when it comes time for suhoor, all you need to do is quickly put them in the blender and you have those blended and you eat them. You can make some protein energy balls. So you grab 2 or 3 of those and you just eat those very quickly with a glass of electrolytes, because we want to be sipping electrolytes in suhoor, because that's going to keep us hydrated. If we are just drinking endless glasses of water, what that's going to do is that's just going to make us urinate all of that out within a few hours after suhoor, especially if you're living in a hot country. So in Australia particularly, this time around, alhamdulillah, Ramadan is coming in kind of a hot period. So that means we really need to be mindful about how we are staying hydrated, because of course that's going to impact our fatigue, our energy levels throughout the day as well. Many people, including me, like to opt for a breakfast style meal in suhoor. That just makes it very easy for me to stick to it and to eat it even though I have a low appetite in the morning. So this could be your typical scrambled eggs with toast, with a glass of electrolytes. Again, you want to stay hydrated, maybe 1 or 2 dates. If you are South Asian and you are really craving that South Asian style suhoor, you can still have that. What you can have is having a whole grain flour chapati or roti, which you can even put a little bit of ghee on, fry it a little bit, and then have it maybe with some pre-made kebabs that you have on hand, or even some scrambled eggs. That's a balanced meal. And of course, keep your portions light. Don't try to overeat at suhoor thinking that's going to keep me satiated throughout the day, that's going to make me feel less fatigued. That's not going to happen, because if you eat too much, then your blood sugar levels are going to spike, and what goes up must come down, and they will crash. And when they crash, you will feel very, very fatigued. Another idea for suhoor, you can have some steel cut oats with some fruits and nuts, or even some protein powder, or your barley porridge. Tilbina is a food that our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to have for breakfast, for suhoor, and that is amazing as well, because barley has been shown to help you manage your blood sugar levels as well. So that's another option that you can have. But if you're having something like that, I recommend pairing it with a source of protein as well, because that is mostly carbs. So you could have some hard-boiled eggs on the side, for example, or maybe a little bit of yogurt on the side, or even a kebab that you just have on its own at suhoor time. So once you have your suhoor meal, you've had a good balanced meal, you make sure that you have your electrolytes as well alongside your water. Then you do your morning prayers. I recommend, if you have time, try to get some sleep during this time. I know it's hard, but even if you don't feel sleepy, I recommend still lying down, getting some rest, because during this time you want to preserve your energy, particularly if you have long fasts like here we have in Australia. I would do that. I would definitely preserve my energy. For instance, I know that in just maybe an hour or 2 I need to wake up and take my kids to school, but even then I would still lie down and try to get some rest after my morning prayers. Now that we've talked about suhoor and preserving your energy levels at suhoor, what kind of meals I recommend having, that you should have at suhoor to have balanced energy levels, let's talk about iftar, because I feel like suhoor is where many people actually get it right. Many women actually get it right. But when it comes to your iftar meal, that's when you kind of derail. And the reason for that is you are ravenous after a long fast. Of course, you're very, very hungry, and you see all this food all of a sudden and you just cannot control yourself. Already with PCOS, we really struggle with cravings, right? We have intense cravings, and of course, if you haven't eaten all day, those cravings are going to be intensified, and your body kind of gives you permission. Okay, you have got these extreme cravings, go ahead, eat everything you want. It's okay. You haven't eaten all day. Let's eat as much as we can. That's what I do not want you to do. I want you to have a little bit of self-control, and this is what I want you to eat at iftar to make sure that your energy levels are balanced. So here are two options. First of all, if your fast is opening a little bit earlier, by that I mean maybe 5-6 p.m., then I recommend having a refreshment, going ahead and praying, and then coming back and having your main meal, which is going to be your dinner. That will be your last meal of the day. If your fast is opening late, like it is for us here in Australia, it's going to be opening around between 7:30 to 8 p.m. alhamdulillah. So then it's going to be different. So let's talk about the early fast first and what you can have as a refreshment before you go ahead and read your evening prayers and come back and have your dinner. Of course, before you have your refreshments, you want to break your fast with some dates. And here I know that many women with PCOS tend to get a little confused because they think dates are high in sugar, they will spike our blood sugar levels, but that's actually not true. There is a reason, subhanAllah, why dates are recommended in Islam and why they are so good for you. Dates are actually considered to be low GI, and that will surprise you. What that means is that they do not spike your blood sugar levels when you eat them. They are also high in fiber. They can have up to 2 grams of fiber per date. Dates also contain small amounts of a type of sugar called allulose, and this type of sugar actually does not spike your blood sugar levels, so it's good for you. So this is why I recommend having 1 or 2 dates when you break your fast, and maybe a glass of electrolytes. Of course, a glass of electrolytes. Actually, you want to be making sure that you are hydrated. So have a glass of electrolytes, have your date, and then go ahead and do your evening prayer, and then you come back. Now, when you come back, if you have a short fast, like I said, between 5 to 6 p.m., you're opening your fast, then you can go ahead and have some kind of a refreshment. So in this case, it could be yogurt with fruits. Personally, I love just topping up some fruits with some almonds and cashews, and then just topping that with some Greek yogurt. So that's one of my favorites. Another one that I personally love is chickpea salads, chaat, and that's something we all make anyway. So that's something you can have a small bowl of. Now, the key here is, of course, to just have small amounts of this so that you are not overloaded. Even if we're having a chickpea salad chaat, if we eat too much of it, then that is also carb rich, and that's going to cause our blood sugar levels to spike and then crash again. And of course, you'll be very fatigued afterwards. So you want to have some type of snack at Iftar. And then you go ahead and you wait. So between 5 to 6 p.m., you have that refreshment, you do your prayer, and then you go ahead and you wait. After 1 or 2 hours, that's when you have your main meal, your dinner. And then after that, you eat nothing and you go to sleep. That's going to help you. That's the kind of pattern that you want to follow if you want balanced blood sugar levels after Iftar. Other snacks I recommend at Iftar could be your finger sandwiches. So these can be with cheese and tomato. You can make them with low carb bread. You can make low carb salad wraps, for example, cream cheese wraps. Those are a good type of snack that you can have at Iftar. Just anything small that you know that includes your carbs, fats, and protein, and you're not overloading yourself on it. So make sure that as you're eating at Iftar, you kind of take a pause. I know it's hard to do that, but take a pause and see how you're feeling, and eat your food slowly rather than gobbling it down. And that's really important for our gut health as well. During Ramadan, many of us can have really upset stomachs after Iftar, especially when you're trying to do your Tarawih prayers. You're finding your stomach is getting very, very upset. And the reason for that is during Iftar time, we just gobble up this food so fast that it kind of just impacts our digestive system really, really quickly. So you want to make sure that you eat your food slowly, you are mindfully chewing your food, and you're taking the time to eat whatever refreshments that you have during this time. So once you've had your refreshments, then you can go ahead and have your main meal. If you are opening your fast late, this is what I will be doing this year as well. I'm just going to be making sure that I have my main meal straight away after I open my fast. I will of course have a date or two, have my glass of electrolytes, and then I will have my main meal after I've done my Maghrib prayer. So that is going to be exactly like the way you would have on normal days as part of a balanced PCOS diet. So it could be a chicken shawarma roll, for example. It could be rice bowls. Now here I recommend having some meal prep options in your freezer that you have on hand, so that if you are too tired to cook, you're not getting takeout, and you're not having having too much of fried foods to try and fill your stomach because you're so hungry. So meal prep meals can look like shredded chicken that you have in your freezer that you can quickly take out, pop into a wrap. It can look like grilled chicken that you have in the freezer. It can look like kebab patties that you have in the freezer. So all of those things are really helpful in helping you prepare quick meals. I like to get those mini rice packets that you just pop in the microwave oven for 30 to 40 seconds, and you immediately have a nice serving of brown rice. And then I will just take out some of my meal prep chicken, put it in the air fryer, and have that with a little bit of salad, and that's a balanced meal for me. You can also make a quick wrap with that, with some low carb wrap, high protein wraps, and that's again going to be a balanced meal for you. Burgers, again, they're okay for iftar as long as you make them with the right type of bread and you're limiting your portions. You're not adding this host of sauces in there. That's going to be fine as well for you to eat during iftar. Also love stews for iftar because I can just pop that into the slow cooker or on the stove top, and that will just cook and be ready for iftar for me when I need to eat and I'm already exhausted. So these are the kind of meals that you want to prioritize during iftar time as your dinner. So these are the ways I want you to practice your eating habits during Ramadan. You may also want to incorporate supplements such as inositol and magnesium, which can help you to balance your blood sugar levels during Ramadan as well. Now, I'm releasing a program this Ramadan. It is called the 4-week Ramadan Reset. This program includes a 4-week meal plan, which is really easy to follow. I've only included very simple meals in there with recipes, grocery lists, all of that. And I also have a meal prep book, which includes 10 plus recipes that you can meal prep before Ramadan or during Ramadan at the halfway point so that you have meals on hand. It also includes 4 support sessions where we'll be doing some weekly calls where I get in touch with you, and we also have a community of other women with PCOS who are also fasting during Ramadan, and we can just chat to each other, we can communicate with each other, we can support each other during Ramadan. So I will be popping the link to that program down below. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I hope to see you in my next video.